Good afternoon, Frady Bunch. What is happening on this, with my hair for starters, good Lord. What's happening on this gorgeous, okay, I just can't talk today, so. What's happening on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon? It's March, folks, so we are so close to spring, and I am very excited. Spring is my favorite season. Just seeing everything wake up and come to life, and just, you know, the world is so gray and dull until March, and then it just becomes so vibrant and green, and I love it. Spring has always been my favorite. But yeah, so I thought I would do something that I've never done before, as you can tell by the super high pitch of my voice. I'm doing something that I've never done before. I am creating my own cookie recipe. Now, whoa, chill out there, folks. Okay, all of the recipes that I've made on my channel thus far have been recipes that I found, that I've made, that I've liked, and that I have altered to work for me, unless of course I've made them for the first time, in which case I'm very much a stickler for rules, so I follow everything to the T. But I've disclosed that all with you all, you know. So I've never made this recipe before. I'm just kind of winging it a little bit. I did some research online on how to develop my own cookie recipe. And it's fairly straightforward. You know, you just pick your flavor profile, and then, you know, you think about what fats you want to put in your cookie, what sugars you want to put in your cookies, like what sort of like flours and binders and leavening agents that you're going to use, and it's all very scientific, and which is exciting. I'm not a science person really, but when it comes to baking, which is a science, you know, it's interesting to me to, you know, figure out how things come together and how things react the way that they do and why they come together a certain way. So it'll be interesting to see how this all comes together, since it is kind of an experiment. So, you know, you just never know how these things are going to go. I hope it turns out okay, but you know, here we are. So I have my oven on 325 degrees right now, so it's already preheated and ready to go for whenever we're done. The reason why I'm baking these cookies on such a low temperature is because it allows the fats to melt slower, so your cookies spread out a little bit more, and it tends to make them a little bit like crunchier. And the sort of consistency that I'm going for with this cookie is like crunchy on the outside and like soft in the middle. I kind of struggle with that with my cookies. They're always either like super domed, so they're like small and fat, which is fine. I'm small and fat. Self-depreciation, you gotta love it. But you know, I'm looking for something a little bit more like well-rounded. So I kind of want like a, you know, thinner cookie that's like crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle. And cooking at a lower temperature helps with that. You can cook your cookies from any range between 325 and 375. As I said, if you cook it at a higher temperature, I didn't say this actually, if you cook your cookies at a higher temperature, the fat melts quicker, so they don't have the opportunity to like expand, so it just sort of like burns up, so you end up with like a denser, not denser, but just sort of like thicker, more robust cookie versus something that's more like, you know, flat. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, so my flavor profile today is kind of unusual for a spring flavor, but it's not technically spring yet. It's still winter, which is fine. We love winter, we love all of the seasons. But I had all this stuff lying around and it sounded really good. And my inspiration for this recipe is based off the Great American Cookie Company's cookie that they have in the fall and winter. but it's a pumpkin and like white chocolate cookie. But yeah, so it's a little bit unusual for spring to have a pumpkin flavor, but you know what, pumpkin's good any time of the year, so we're doing it. I'm doing it. You definitely don't have to use it. Whatever, this is my recipe, and I just thought it would be fun to do this and then share it with you all. So if it's a total and complete disaster, we know where to start over. And it's really easy to like troubleshoot when you're making your own cookie recipe. You know, if the consistency is wrong or if the bake is wrong, like, you know, you can adjust your ingredients and stay with the same temperature, or you can leave the ingredients the same and adjust your temperature. You know, but when you're troubleshooting, you just want to fix one problem at a time. Like, you don't want to change a bunch of different things and then hope that it works, because you don't know where you went wrong. So hopefully everything will go right today. I'm a little nervous, but it's all right. So we're just gonna jump right in here and get started. Okay, so this recipe will make 12 like medium large size cookies or 24 small cookies, and these are going to be kind of like a drop cookie. I'm going to use a cookie scoop to make sure that they're all the same size, but yeah, so we will need half a cup of total fats for that size recipe. So your fats can be like butter, like a butter substitute, pumpkin, which I'm using. You can use applesauce, you can use banana, you can use nut butters. That's your fat. So I'm using a 1/4 cup of butter because I do like nice buttery cookies, and the butter is what's going to give us the sort of like crunch that we're looking for on the outside of the cookie. So we're doing a 1/4 cup of softened butter. And then we're also going to match that with a 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. So now obviously the pumpkin is going to give it the pumpkin flavor. And we're also going to need half a cup to 1 whole cup of total sugars. Now again, you can use white sugar, you can use brown sugar, you can use dark brown sugar, you can use sugar substitutes, and you can, you know, play around with whatever works for you and mix and match, use some white sugar, some brown sugar. I'm going to use all light brown sugar today. Light brown sugar in general, just like makes the cookies, it makes them like softer, it gives them like a more rich flavor, which is kind of what I'm looking for. With this, I want them to be like decadent without being overpowering. So we're going to do about 3/4 of a cup. Not about, we're doing exactly 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar, and I'm packing it just to make sure that we are getting every little bit of sugar that we can. Okay, so we're just going to cream our pumpkin and brown sugar and butter. So now to this, we're going to add 1 large egg. So really, these cookies are going to be like a vanilla, almond, pumpkin, and white chocolate like drop cookie, which sounds a little complicated, but I'm hoping they're going to be like more like vanilla, pumpkin, spicy forward, and the almond's just going to kind of be like, not like an after flavor, but just sort of like enhance the flavors that are already there, give it a sort of nuttiness. I love almond extract. Like I love to use it anywhere that I can. I think it just adds a certain dynamic, a different level of flavor to things. So, so yeah, so hopefully it works. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. My current favorite vanilla, and I might have shown you this before, is this Watkins Original Gourmet Baking Vanilla. It's a pure vanilla extract, which, you know, you want, but it's also like super rich, so it's very like it's like an enhanced vanilla. To me, it tastes like more pure and more vanilla-y than like regular standard baking vanilla. So, and I'm just gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Okay, I'm gonna scrape down our sides here. It smells pretty potent right now. That almond is very, very strong. Okay, so now to that, we're going to add our flour, our leavening agent, and our spices. So we're going to do a cup of flour. We're going to start with a cup of flour until we reach our desired consistency of cookie dough that we want. So we're going to start with 1 cup of flour. And we need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. We're using baking soda instead of baking powder because the pumpkin is really acidic. So you need something that's like basic to kind of counteract it. If you had baking powder, it would just give the cookie more of a rise, and I don't really want a super risen cookie. So we're just going to do a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay. So now comes the fun part, because I don't know how much of these spices to put in. I have cinnamon, nutmeg, and pumpkin pie spice, and I'm not gonna do a lot of the pumpkin pie spice because I want like a nice like spicy, like yummy pumpkin-y cookie, but I don't want it to be too like pumpkin forward, if that makes sense. I want the pumpkin to be a nice flavor that you have in the cookie, but I don't want it to be like pumpkin. I'm here, I'm loud, I am orange and in your face pumpkin. No, we don't want that. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. So I'm probably going to do probably 1/8 of a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. This is organic pumpkin pie spice, in case anybody cared to know. I'm going to do about 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm being very shy with my spices right now because I don't want it to be overpowering. I want to taste my cookie dough, figure out if it needs anything, if I like the consistency of it before I bake it. So, you know. And then I'm going to do about 1/2 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon is my favorite spice. There's no such thing as too much cinnamon, but I want to be generous because I don't know how much this is going to need. So I'm gonna let that come together. Ooh, that smells really nice. Oh, that smells really good. It still smells predominantly pumpkin-y, which is fine. I just want to get all of our dry ingredients incorporated in here. It's a little, not like sticky, but it's about the right consistency, about what I'm looking for. I like the color of it so far. So we're just gonna mix the last of that flour in. Okay. I'm gonna take out my teeth. Just kidding. I went through Invisalign to correct my smile. No, gosh, it's been like 2 full years, I think, since I finished it now. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so I just want to taste this. You can taste the almond. It's really good. You can taste the pumpkin. It tastes kind of floury. See, I don't know. I feel like everything is at a good balance right now, and I don't really know if I want to add any more of anything for risk of making it too much of one, not enough of another. So we're gonna call that good. We're gonna see what they bake like. Usually the cookies that I make have a little bit drier of a dough, but I'm gonna see like what this kind of a consistency does for the cookies. See if they like spread a lot, or if they're too, I don't know. So now this cookie dough, it's not super sweet. Like, it's sweet, you can definitely taste the sweetness, but it's not like, ooh, that's really sweet. And I'm not a super big white chocolate fan, but I felt like for these kind of cookies, you wanted something that was a little bit more sweet, to sort of offset the kind of like spicy savoriness of the cookie itself. So I've got about a half a cup here of chopped up white chocolate baking chocolate. For white chocolate cookies, I prefer to use this versus like white chocolate chips or baking chips, just because I think these melt better, they have a better flavor, they don't taste so like artificial and chemically. So I just like roughly chop this up in about chip sized pieces. So we're just gonna toss that in. I also have some white chocolate chips on standby in case there's not enough white chocolate in the dough, which it's hard to tell. I think it's all right. So I have my baking sheet here lined with parchment paper. Just going to scoop these out. This is a very wet dough, which is fine. We're just gonna see how they bake. So they might need a while since they are so wet, but you never know. You never know. So I'm just gonna do 6 cookies and giving them plenty of room to spread out. Let that set. All right, here they are. I'm gonna put them in the oven. I'm gonna start with, usually cookies only need about 8 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna start with 5, check them from there, check them again at 8, and if they need a little bit longer, we'll go the full 10, and then evaluate from there. The last thing I want is to overcook these puppies, but you never know. All right, I will show you what the end product looks like, and we'll do a taste test, okay? Okie dokie, folks. Last batch of cookies is in the oven. My first 2 batches are done. I had to troubleshoot a little bit as I was baking them. As I said, I started on 325, and they spread out nice and slowly. They were cooking really nicely. I baked them probably 12 or 13 minutes, just like not sure how long it would take. Pulled them out, let them cool. This is batch number 1, so they are super thin, which is fine. They're super soft, but they're basically, okay. I don't know if you can see that, but it's basically just like raw dough still in the middle. Plus they look really like greasy. Not greasy, just very like laden with like fat. So if I were to bake them at that temperature again, I think that I would bake them for longer, probably about 20 minutes, just to make sure that like all the fat had cooked out. I did try them, the massively underdone ones, and I love the flavor profiles of it. I think that they turned out really nice. Now these ones just came out of the oven not that long ago, They've been cooling for probably about 5 minutes. These look a lot better. These are a lot more done. They are crispy on the outside, soft in the middle. What I was looking for. These, I increased the temperature to 350 and I baked them for about 11 minutes. So I have not tried these yet. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that consistency. You see that? Look at that. That looks so good. Let's try it. That's really nice. You get the pumpkin, you get like the warm spice from the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the pumpkin pie spice. You definitely taste the pumpkin, and like the white chocolate just adds like a little extra bit of sweetness. But these aren't like overwhelmingly sweet. It's a very, very good cookie. And the outside is nice and crunchy. The middle is really light and fluffy. I'll definitely have to make these again. Play around with it a little bit more because we don't want that to happen again. Well, thank you for sticking with me through this trial and error first time cookie recipe process. Try it yourself, see how you like it, let me know. Post it in the comments below how it goes for you or what you think. If you like this and want to see me do more of my own original recipes, just let me know. And until next time, guys.